Guys, don't you just love that card? So we're going to make that card today. Very simple, easy card to make, a fun fold card. What you're going to need is a 4 1/4 by 11 piece cardstock of Marina Mist. And I scored this at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. Then you're also going to need a 1 inch by 11 strip piece of Marina Mist. Again, it's scored at 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. Then you're also going to need 2 pieces. They're cut 1 by 3 1/4, and you're going to score each end 1/4 of an inch. You're also going to need some designer series paper. This is from the True Gentleman pack, and you're going to need 2 pieces which are measured at 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. Then you're going to need this one here. This is cut at 3/4 by 5 1/4. And 2 strips here. These are cut 3/4 by 2 1/2. So we're going to be using the stamp set Lift Me Up. This is still one of my favorites. It came out last year on occasions, and it actually carried over into the annual catalog. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the stamping on the card before we assemble it together. So I'm just taking the 2 clouds out of the stamp set, and I'm going to use my Versamark, and I'm just going to stamp this all over this side of the Marina Mist. And your Versamark will not look like this when you get it. This was, some of the Brush-Os got spilled on here. So it's kind of pretty, but I really didn't want to spill my Brush-Os on there. So once you have all your clouds on your paper here, we're going to take basic black, and we're going to take the Hope Your Day is on Cloud 9, Happy Birthday, and I'm just going to stamp that up in the top right hand corner. So now we're going to take all our designer series paper and adhere it to our paper. So you can use your snail adhesive, your fast fuse, whatever you'd like, your Tombow mono glue. These 2 pieces are going to go on these 2 panels right here. Then you're going to take these 3 pieces here, and we're going to glue them to our strip. So your front of your card's going to fold. It's going to fold like this. So we're going to glue our strips onto this piece right here. So then we're going to adhere this onto the card. And I found that it was easier to adhere this on and then put these on. It's up to you. You might find it easier to put them on now versus later. But we're just going to go ahead, and what you're going to do is it's going to line up right at the bottom of your card. So we're just going to put your fast fuse. You want to make sure you use something that's very strong. So your Tombow or your fast fuse, because it's a moving part, I always like to make sure it's secured down nicely. So you're just going to put your glue all the way to the fold, and then you're just going to line this up and anchor that down on your card. Just like that. And then down here on this end, you're going to go ahead and glue this piece. So flip this up and just make sure you put plenty of adhesive on here. And again, you want to use strong adhesive. With your card flat out, you just glue this to the bottom here. Just like so. Now there's your moving part of your card. So what you're going to do now is take your 2 pieces of your Marina Mist, and we're going to just fold these little tabs, fold them inwards, just like so. And then you can use your bone folder to give it that good crease. So then you just want to take your liquid Tombow mono glue and put that right on the tabs. And then I just took these and I just put them inside here. Put the tabs of your cards towards the back. And I just kind of eyeballed it. You could measure in between and you know, get it perfect if you wanted to. So it should look like that when you are finished gluing those in. So then your card's going to fold just like this. So the next thing we're going to do is take the 2 hot air balloons, the big and the little, and we're going to stamp those on a piece of scrap Whisper White cardstock. You're going to stamp 2 big ones and 1 small one. We're going to stamp that out with the Memento ink because we're going to do some coloring on it. Then I'm just going to take my Stampin' Blends and I'm just going to color these. So you can color these with whatever you'd like to. So once you have them all colored, you're going to take your thinlits and you're going to cut these out. And also you're going to take in the thinlits here, you have 4 different clouds. You're going to cut the bigger clouds out twice and you're going to cut the little clouds out once each. And with the clouds, you're going to use the Marina Mist to cut those out. So once you have your clouds all cut, and your balloons, I'm just going to take the Marina Mist and I'm just going to sponge it over the clouds just to give them a little bit more texture. So I'm just taking a piece of sponge. These sponges are round sponges and I cut them up into little triangles. And I'm just going to just take this and ink it up and just kind of go around the edges of all the clouds with this color. Just to give it some, like I said, a little bit of texture to it. So you can see the difference by just adding that little bit of color, how that cloud really pops out. Then if you just rinse this out and let it air dry, you can use it again on other projects. So once you have your clouds all inked up, now we're going to assemble the card. Now, what I did was I took our window sheets. I don't know if you can see this or not. I took our window sheets and I cut 2 strips. They're 1/2 inch wide and I didn't measure the length. What I'm going to do is just kind of glue these on the back of the clouds and my balloons, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and then cut it to where I like it. So I'll show you what I mean here. We're going to take one of these strips, and I recommend a very strong adhesive. So I'm just going to use the Tombow Mono Glue on here, and you're going to put some on top of one of your strips. I'll put the blue under here. I don't know if that helps out any better for you to see this, but just going to put a little dab of your mono glue on top here. And then we're going to stick the hot air balloon, one of the large hot air balloons, on here. So you're just going to stick it on just so it's about maybe halfway on. And then just let that tack up and dry. And then you're going to figure out over here how high you want this to stick up. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to look and see, okay, I want it, so you want to make sure it stays below the card. So you just kind of measure it, eyeball it. So I'm just going to almost cut this in half. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take your hot air balloon, and you see how you have the 2 pieces here that we glued inside. You're going to go on that last piece and you're going to glue your hot air balloon to that last piece. So you're going to want to glue it to the back side of that tab. So then this way the piece of window sheet is behind that, so you're not seeing that glued in the front. if that makes any sense to you guys. Instead of gluing it on the front like that, you're going to glue it back here. And then this way it kind of hides that window sheet. So you're going to want to glue this closer to the inside of the card because you're going to put your little balloon next to it. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, make sure it's not sticking over the top of the card, and then glue it down. And you just want to hold it there for a second if you're using the Tombow glue, just so that it gets tacky and then sticks. So it'll look something like that. I don't know. You guys can see that. See how it's sticking up there? So it'll look something like that. And then we're going to take the longer piece here, and we're going to use our small hot air balloon, and we're going to do the same thing. You're just going to put a little bit of the mono glue right up on top, and then you're going to stick your hot air balloon to it. Just like that, and then just let it tack up a minute. It does take a little bit to tack up. And then again, we're going to kind of eyeball it. You want to put it right next to that big balloon, but you want to put it down a little. So I'm going to cut this about a little more than halfway, I would say. And then you can always trim, so make sure you, if you take off too much, then you can't trim. So see how it's just below that one? So we're going to go ahead and, again, your mono glue on the front panel here, and then you're going to glue it behind. And you can also lift the card up and just hold it there on the bottom, pinch it between your two fingers. And then just wait until it tacks up, and then you can release it. So your card's going to look like this. So your hot air balloons are right there. They're kind of floating in the air. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take your clouds, and you're going to take one of the bigger clouds and one of the small clouds. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take these two pieces that we have left of our window sheets, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put some mono glue on the top, glue your cloud right there, let it tack up. So this one here we're going to trim up, and this is going to go below your hot air balloon, so you're not going to need as much of your window sheet here. So you want to trim off more than half. So you should have like a little tab on there, if that makes any sense. And then this is going to float down here below on the second tier. So again, some mono glue right on the bottom, and then you're going to glue it on this second strip here of paper, and kind of near the end of the card. And then just hold it there so that it tacks up. So it'll look like that. Then you're going to take one of the small clouds and do the same thing. You're going to put your mono glue on the top here, and then put your cloud right on there. And if you have some of the window sheet that's sticking above the cloud, just go ahead and trim that off. Not a big deal at all. Then again, you're just going to trim it, like I said, about, I don't know, you're trimming about 3/4 of that window sheet off. And then you're just going to put your mono glue on the bottom here and tack it down. It's going to look like that, if you guys can see that. So cute. So the hot air balloons are floating over the clouds, and the clouds are floating. And then these last clouds, I took the small one and then the medium size one here, and you're just going to glue those right to the front of the card. So no window sheet. You don't need any of the window sheet. So again, I'm using the mono glue. You're just going to glue that right here to the front. And same thing with the small cloud. Just glue it right to the front. And I've got it popped up off the edge a little bit. So the inside of the card should look like that. You got your nice little 3D scene right inside. So then you have your other hot air balloon and your 2 clouds left. So this guy here we're going to glue right to the front, and we're just going to glue that right down. You can use your snail adhesive, your fast fuse. I have my Tombow glue handy, so I'm just going to use that. And then I'm going to kind of angle it on the front here and glue that down. Then I'm going to take some dimensionals and pop those 2 clouds up. So then I'm just going to stick these clouds over here and just pop them up. So there's your card. Super cute, super fun to make. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.